It's Monday, it's the Prez, Lawrence Presman, and you're watching Puck Time, the #1 NHL show ever, according to about 3 guests who keep comment about that. I'm Lawrence, and we got Carmine, Bianco, and Alex B. Smith with us. Let's bring them in. Hey boys, Carm, I saw you Saturday night. We went to what's commonly referred to as the Leaf game.
This guy, that was a pretty good. It's a pretty good a Leaf win for you. Split three of 4 possible points, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, good for Buffalo, dude. I mean, it's amazing, Alex. They play Friday night, they put up 20 goals, and then Saturday 3.
Yeah, well, that's the difference in goaltending too. You have the Hutchinson. I mean, we're saying, oh, is it the team in front of him? At this point, you got to start wondering. It's probably Hutchinson that's just not at the NHL level. They're gonna have to make some kind of move and get a backup goal.
Yeah, I don't know how though, but listen, this ain't the Leaf show. Even though it's all Carm really wants to talk about. This is Puck Time.
You know who is available? He got sent down to the Viners. No, Kincaid. Montreal put Kincaid on waivers, but basically you send them to, I think it's Laval, to get some ice time, some game time, and maybe get some confidence back. He's not playing very well right now.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for the Leafs. They've got no cap room. But guys, we got 5 games to talk about today. I just want to make a quick reminder to everybody, no promotions today. I just want to really hone in on the fact that every Monday at WagerTalk and Sports Memo is $9 Monday. Every play, every package, only $9. I got a play up on the football game tonight. I also have a hockey play up. You can get them for $9 at WagerTalk.com. Boys, Buffalo, they got to be tired. They're hosting New Jersey tonight. New Jersey, tough team right now. So much expected of them. They find themselves a plus 115, plus 120 dog. Over and under in this game is 6. And Alex, I like the over in this game. Where are you going?
I would take a shot here with New Jersey, and I haven't really done that too often. Both these teams have been struggling mightily, but so he's 1-1 so far. He seems to have been the best of the 3 goalies that the Devils have had this season. Carr mentioned Kincaid getting sent to the AHL. We already knew Corey Schneider was sent down at one point, was looking terrible. New Jersey 12-4 the last 16 meetings against Buffalo, so they've found a way to beat this team more often than not. And he said Buffalo coming off of that emotional home series with the Leafs, so I can see where it might be not really geared up as much for this game. New Jersey, if they score early, they could control the pace and win this one.
Yeah, and I agree they're worth taking a flyer. I mean, Buffalo has to be tired, both physically and emotionally. It was a huge back-to-back against Toronto, and they played really, really well. I think this is a bad spot for them. Carm?
Yeah, I tend to agree. They picked up points in 4 of the last 5 games. The only game they haven't picked up points was that loss in Tampa 5-2. The end of November is a tough month for them. They put together a ton of games, and the fact that they actually picked up some points really boded well for them then. But I think it's going to have an effect on them now. I watched both of those games against the Leafs. And they literally played I don't want to say lights out, but they played such an emotional game, and it just sometimes there's a drop off. You play those a team twice, and then you come back home and you have a drop off. And I think that's what might happen here. As Alex said, Dominguez is in net tonight. I keep waiting for this New Jersey team to start stringing some wins together. They're kind of in that zigzag mode right now, and if you follow that zigzag mode, then today's a zig or a W for them. And they probably haven't forgotten what the Sabres and the Sabres beat them 7-2. You tend not to forget those games, so we'll see. I'm likely to take the dog here and the Devils.
Guys, we're having a little bit of sound issues. There's a delay. Just to let you know, I'm taping out of Toronto. There's such a massive snowstorm going on. It's actually glorious, Carm. I love this weather. I mean, if it's going to be freezing cold, let it snow.
Yeah, I was out early this morning. They have that thing where they say, don't start your snowblower in the morning because you might wake people up. I don't give a shit. I was out there this morning plowing the driveway and even my neighbor's driveway at like 7 a.m. I don't care. You got a problem, come over and talk to me.
I've always had a really good snow plowing technique. What I do is I just drive my car up and down my driveway and it just flattens the snow, and then I don't ever need to. I haven't plowed my driveway in 10 years. And Carm, you've seen my steps to get up to my house. Yeah. It's bloody treacherous because I don't shovel them either.
They have this, it's a great invention. It's called salt.
I have a big bag of salt sitting at the top of the stairs. It sat there for 2 years. I haven't even opened it. Guys, before we get into the Vegas Golden Knights game tonight, on the road playing the Rangers, really interesting, I mean, look, it's still early days, but the Western Conference, I mean, you look at the teams that are looking up at the playoff picture. Nashville, Calgary, and Vegas. All looking up. Vancouver and Dallas holding the last spots. There are a lot of good teams. This conference is really deep.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, and that's the thing. We talked about. Year after year, we always say that the American Thanksgiving break is really kind of the turning point for teams, whether they're going to make the playoffs or miss the playoffs. But St. Louis, of course, bucking that trend in the highest order by winning the Cup last year. It just seems like that's something that we're not going to be able to say much longer. It seems like it's going to be probably more toward the beginning of the new year, or maybe even the middle of the January, before we can say teams are going to really split from one side to another, because there's still a lot of good hockey teams that just haven't been playing well in stretches early. If they regress back to the norm or improve to the norm, we're going to see those teams kind of go back and forth the rest of the way.
Speaking about one of those teams, Alex, the Vegas Golden Knights, they have won their last 2 games. They beat Arizona 2-1. They beat Nashville 4-3. But they've lost 6 of 10. They're not playing the way they used to play last year. They're not back-checking with that swarm style of back-check. Their forecheck isn't great. This team, something is wrong with this team, but I think they'll get it fixed. They're on the road playing the Rangers tonight, and the Rangers have won 4 of their last 5 games. The Rangers are literally 2 wins out from playoff position, holding 2 games in hand on Pittsburgh and Carolina. Rangers find themselves at plus 118, and honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't take the dog here. At home, playing really good hockey. Panarin's on fire. I think the Rangers are the play.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, if you look at, like I said, they won 4 of the last 5, and that 5th game was on the day after Thanksgiving, where they actually had a lead and let it go. Boston was swarming them with shots, and Rangers were doing all they could to hold them off. But we know how good Boston is, especially coming from behind as of late. So they were able to take in overtime, a point in that one as well. He said moving up the ladder in that Eastern Conference standings. Vegas, they seem to have struggled every time they've been on the East Coast so far this year. A lot of low-scoring games, a lot of low-energy games. They don't have that same speed and skill that we see from them at home. They don't feed off of that crowd at home so much that where they're on the road, it just seems to be a bit deflated. You also have Malcolm Subban in net. Marc-Andre Fleury, of course, been out with personal issues with dealing with a death in his family. He should be back some point in this road trip, but for now, it's going to be Subban in net. So I'll definitely look at the Rangers here to plus.
Carm, you with us?
No, I'm unfortunately I'm against you guys. It's one of those things where I understand you can only beat the teams in front of you, and I look at the Rangers are playing impressive, but wins against the Canadiens, the Habs, New Jersey, I'm not really impressed by those. But you can only win who they put in front of you. At the end of the day, I just think that Vegas is probably over the last 10 games or so more battle tested. they're actually playing very well in front of Subban, which is a surprise to me. And then there, I understand Fleury's not there; he's still in Montreal. But there was speculation that he's not going to be on the bench tonight; that he could be back in New York either tonight or tomorrow. And of course, with his dad passing away on the 27th of November, it's one of those things that you sort of look at once he's back with the team. There's going to be some type of an emotional uplift for that team. It's just the way it is. They play just a little bit better. If he was in net tonight, I'd definitely say Vegas is the way to go. And I'm waiting to see when he does appear in the lineup. But Vegas for me tonight. Even though, and here's the thing that always gets me is Georgiev shut out his last game, and it's Lundqvist in net tonight. I understand the 1-1A goalie thing, but I always say you got to ride a hot goalie. But I understand the Rangers' point of view. Lundqvist has been almost lights out at home. Only a couple of losses. I think he's 6-2-1 or something like that. So they're riding that. But I always say go with the hot goal.
Guys, really quickly, two things. Firstly, Andrew McGinnis was supposed to be on the show today. He texted literally 1 minute before the show started. His doctor's appointment was running late. Carm had absolutely no notice. I think you were 35 seconds, give or take. So big thanks to Carm. The other thing is this, guys. A lot of people who listen to these shows, they do buy packages at Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. And I've been in this industry since 1998. I used to own a website called Who to Bet On, which I sold in 2007. Now I'm one of the co-owners of WagerTalk. And, I've studied, and we do analytics, we do surveys, and I've really studied how people buy plays. And, one of literally the most common way to buy a handicapper is to wait until they're on a 15-3 run and then buy them. I highly suggest you guys stop doing that. It never works out. If you miss a run, you miss a run. The key is, when are those runs going to happen? And figuring out when to buy a handicapper is half the battle. Why am I saying this? Carm is literally...
Oh, God.
There is no better handicapper at Sports Memo. You and Tony are gods to me. Carm has just killed it all year. The reason Alex, Carm's never handicapped in his life. He's one of my closest friends, a man I love, and he used to text me all his bets regularly, every single day. And after about a year of seeing these 5-team parlays continue to hit, I'm like, Carm, we need you to sell your plays on WagerTalk. And that's how Carm joined the company. Anyway,
Alex,
the bottom line...
sorry.
The bottom line is Carm had a 1-6 day yesterday. He had a 2-5 day on Saturday or something like that. The guy had a weekend that could make a Viagra man soft. This is the perfect time to buy Carm, because you have, listeners, when you have a handicapper that is really, really talented, and he's had a bad week, that's the moment to jump on that person. Carm, you hear me right now. Next Monday, you will come back on the show and we will talk about you having a plus 30 unit week. So congratulations ahead of time.
No, I understand, and it's the ebbs and flows of sports gambling. And when Lawrence says that, I've never, I think, when he said I've never handicapped before, I don't. What he's trying to say is I've never been on a site selling plays. Obviously, I did a lot of arbitraging and hockey and soccer selling, basically where you're the bookie on these sites, on these exchanges. So that's where I got my beak wet per se. But yeah, what a absolutely brutal weekend of sports it was for me. And here's the worst part: is I'm at the game Friday night, and I've got a on Saturday night. Sorry, and I've got as Prez saw a 5-team parlay because I thought, what the hell? I'm going to the Leaf game. Let me put in a parlay, and literally 4 of the 5 games have already won. And you know what the 5th game was? I had to actually cheer for the Leafs in overtime to win because that was the
Well,
last.
you were the guy that decided to bet them.
Yeah. Well, I thought obviously it was a good spot for the Leafs to win. Usually these home and homes end up in splits anyways. So I found myself silently cheering for the Leafs
in a Buffalo shirt,
Sabres jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, in a Buffalo Sabres shirt at the Leaf game, jumping for joy on the overtime goal.
Prez, Alex, I will always tell you this, and at the end of the day, money trumps everything else. Okay, doesn't matter who your favorite team is. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you have to bet against them to make money, you bet against them to make money. We're in this to make money. We're not here for style points that, hey, my team won. Who cares? Did your bank account or your sportsbook account get higher? Yes? Okay, that's all I want to know.
New York Islanders on the road, minus 200 against Detroit, and over and under of 5.5. And, you know, I don't think I've seen a team as bad as Detroit, to be honest with you. They've lost 9 in a row. And, you know, I watched the Toronto-Detroit game where Toronto won 6-0. This Detroit team is, well, not built to play in the NHL, and that's being kind. With that said, I don't want to take the Islanders here at minus 200. This is just a pass for me. Alex?
Well, the trend I've been riding is playing the team total over on anybody against Detroit. And you get a good price here, over 3.5 minus $1.05 with the Islanders tonight. I know their offense has kind of sputtered a little bit the last 2-3 games, but I think this is a good spot to get things rolling. Detroit, I mean, it's just an absolute mess right now. They're a dumpster fire defensively and in net. And you had Bernier dealing with the flu, Howard getting hurt. They brought up Calvin Pickard, then they sent him back to Grand Rapids. So it's just a complete mess right now. Only thing I would be playing will be Islanders team total over.
And Carm, I understand that, but you have the Islanders. I mean, they've scored 4 goals in 4 games. Detroit, the remedy?
Yeah. It probably is. You know, that angle that Alex is talking about is cashed 7 of the last 8 times, over 3.5. For the opposition. Listen, it was a tough run out for the Islanders. I am your new host at Puck Time, Lauren.
Water went down. Wrong pipe.
All right, but you're okay. You don't need me to host.
Host, take over.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you know, as far as the Islanders go, obviously it was a tough end to that road trip. Or a tough road trip in general. You know what I mean? They lost to San Jose, they lost to Anaheim, they lost to
they pulled the Green Bay.
But each one of those teams, because I watch a shitload of hockey. Unfortunately, I watch a lot of hockey in those late games. My wife's usually asleep by then. I watch all 3 of them, and it was the Kings put on a defensive masterclass. The Ducks gave them absolutely nothing. When you're a team like the Islanders, who literally play a game where you wait for the other team to make a mistake to capitalize. Neither one of those teams made mistakes, and that's why they went 0-3 on that trip. Came home, beat Columbus, and now they hit the road. Detroit is the team that remedies a lot of things. And Lawrence, you're absolutely right. I don't think I've seen, at least in my recent memory of the last 5 years of NHL hockey, a team play as bad as Detroit is playing. And if we remember earlier in the year, I think us a hard time in the comment section about Steve Yzerman and how he was going to turn this Detroit team around. He can't turn them around right with the team that they have right now. It's a long-term project. I'm hoping he does because, you know, having a very good Detroit franchise in this league, I think is great. It's great for the rivalry with Toronto and, you know, and the teams in and around them, like Chicago and stuff. So, right now, they've shown absolutely nothing to suggest that they can buckle down defensively and play better. So it's the Islanders and that team total of 3.5 for me.
As a Hawks fan, I'm delighted to see Detroit playing like absolute garbage, but I'm a little disappointed because I had an over 75.5 point total that's probably already dead in the water. So, but
Yeah.
like you said, it is good for the league when Detroit is playing with that. In all honesty, that is one of the teams that you don't want to have one of your original 6 teams struggling right now. And it's ironic because you got Montreal on an 8-game losing streak as well to go along with this 9-game streak for Detroit.
Guys, I really liked Tampa Bay against St. Louis a few days ago. But this St. Louis team, man, I am watching them play night in and night out. There's nothing flashy. I mean, they're exactly like the New York Islanders. They bottle up everybody. They grind out wins. They've won 3 in a row now. This team I just can't play against, and they're on the road playing Chicago. Losers of 2 in a row and 5 of their last 6 games. St. Louis minus 135 with a total of 6. Alex, again, this is a pass for me. I don't like the spot for St. Louis, but I'm not going to get in their way.
Yeah, it's St. Louis or nothing in this spot. I mean, the Hawks have been playing absolutely terrible. They looked flat in both ends of the home-and-home series with Colorado, giving up 12 goals in total. Now you got Robin Lehner, who's out tonight with the flu. So more than likely to be Corey Crawford in that. Kevin Lankinen was called up from Rockford. He'll be the backup, at least for the time being. For St. Louis, they get Robert Bortuzzo back on defense. He has serving a 4-game suspension. He's eligible to return tonight. So that should help things out on that back end that have been struggling a little bit. But they're winning 3 in a row right now. They always play the Hawks tough, even though they've lost 4 of the last 5 at the United Center. Except the only way I would be looking here would be St. Louis.
Carmine, go ahead.
They're playing well, as you guys have talked about. It's just we thought there would be like early on in the season there's that Stanley Cup kind of hangover, but playing extremely well right now. I looked at the total here, and there's still some 5.5s out there. I think it's going to hit 6. Once you start to see that it's not Binnington in net tonight, it's Crawford and it's Jake Allen is confirmed as a goalie for tonight. That and the fact that sometimes when a team like it's the Hawks right now start to let goals in bundles, it just continues on for a while. They let in 12 in this back-to-back with the Avalanche, and I know it's the Avalanche, but 12 goals in 2 games is a lot. St. Louis for it's total here for me 5.5. Grab the 5.5s now because I think it's going to hit 6.
Guys, before we get into the last game, Carmen and I, Alex, were talking on Saturday night, and we're both, Raptor fans sitting in Toronto. The Toronto Raptors have started the season 15-4. Alex, I don't know if you know this, but I think ESPN or some reputable entity put out a top 10 teams in the NBA. The Raptors weren't in that list. This is a 15-4 team that's whooped Philly and everybody else, went into LA, laid the smackdown on the Lakers, did it without Kyle Lowry or Spicy P. What the hell, man? How can you actually name me 10 teams better than the Raptors?
No, I don't understand at all. I do remember seeing that on Twitter, that list, and like I said, I don't understand that one bit. And the NBA is kind of a popularity league when it comes to some of these.
They're the world champs, for Christ's sake.
I agree. Yeah, I'm agree with you 100%. It doesn't make any sense that they should be on top. Just that alone, the fact that they're playing as well as they are, and they're defending world champions, where they don't have that kind of hangover as we talk about with championship teams. They're cruising right along. So yeah, I mean, hey, it's just a list. I mean, what you see and what trumps whatever list comes out from any stores.
Yeah, like I have to believe it's one of those things as far as like the media goes, and like we talk about the popularity thing is, 2 years ago they were a good team. And last year they were a great team because they got Kawhi. Kawhi leaves, they just figure we're going to go back to just being a good team. The team is just continues to get better as the players are developing and getting better. Like Siakam is a star. He went from most improved player to he can actually go back to back most improved player off of last season.
There's no way that's ever happened.
It hasn't. But he can actually do it for the season that he's having right now. It's
You're right.
So
I think he's a top 10 player right now. Alex, what the hell is the logo for the Anaheim Ducks? Do you know? I actually asked somebody in Anaheim.
It's they have the duck face with the goalie mask. That's their original logo, and then they switched over, and then they have the big D, which is shaped like a webbed foot. Like
Yeah, it's a duck foot. Stupidest logo in all of sports. They're minus 150 against the LA Kings with a total of 5.5 on tap. Alex, what do you like in this game?
This is just a pass for me. If I had to play anything, I'd probably be looking under. It's something we see trend with the Kings and Ducks often, and it's always a fierce rivalry, no matter how good or bad either team is. So, but the Ducks, we talk about how their offense just goes up and down, and they just haven't been able to win anything. LA's had some spirited efforts, won 2 of the last 3. So if I had to play a side, I'd go LA, but I would just kind of stay away from this game or play it under.
Carm?
Yeah, same thing. It's actually the logo does kind of look like a cartoon rocket ship going sideways, but other than that, yeah, I tend to agree on the under here. Much like the traffic for anyone going to that game from one part of LA to Anaheim, it's going to be very slow. So under here for me, 5.5.
He's Carmine Bianco. I'm the Prez. You can find us both at WagerTalk.com. Alex B. Smith. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. And don't forget, everybody, it's $9 Mondays. Every Monday at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Every play/package is only $9. Guys, outstanding stuff today. Thanks so much, Carm, for stepping in last minute. We'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you guys have an incredible Monday.